The trends research expert, has predicted that Europe is going to be plunged into war, national strife and ethnic tensions in the next few months in his recent update. Now, is he exaggerating, or is there really a chance that Europe, Austria, the country where I am in now, is going to be braced by nationalism, ethnic cleansing and wars in the next few months? There are certainly some signs that things are going to get very, very bad here in Austria. There are going to be huge budget cuts. 61% of the hospitals are scheduled to be closed in the next budget. The next budget is so horrifying that the government didn't want to release it in October as usual, but has delayed the publication of the budget until after regional elections. If we look at the UK, 40% budget cuts there are due to occur, and it has been calculated that almost the entire tax income of Germans in the next few years is going to be used just to pay bank debts. The Greek sovereign bank debt crisis and other sovereign debt crises under the agreements that have just gone through the Eurozone, 720 billion Eurozone bailout and so on. That means there will be no money for hospitals, no money for schools, no money for the unemployed. We're really going to go back to a situation like the 1930s, which my own dad experienced here in Austria, where people were hungry and sleeping on the streets. The powers that rule us, the Bilderbergs, this corporate secret crime syndicate, is also planning war. We see that many of the countries in Europe have spent a lot of money on new arms contracts. Greece, for example, has bought new submarines from the Germans as part of its bailout package, and also arms and weapons from France. Germany has itself evolved into becoming one of the biggest exporters and manufacturers of arms in the world. It's now one of the major stays of its industry. At the same time, the European Bilderbergs seem to have swung behind the American Bilderbergs in pushing for a Third World War, starting with an attack on Iran. The German Defense Minister Karl Theodor zu Guttenberg has made moves to abolish conscription. Conscription is one of the few guarantees left that the German army cannot go and fight in offensive wars as it did during the Second World War. Conscription requires the soldiers to stay on German territory, but this is due to be abolished. Germany is due to have a professional army by the beginning of next year, which means that the soldiers can be sent to fight in Iran, in the Middle East, in Russia, Poland, wherever. So we see here a repeat of the 1930s. The same group has caused the same financial crisis. Goldman Sachs indeed has just got a $550 million fine for its role in the subprime fraud, which has largely caused this financial crash, and the German banker from IKB has also been sent to prison for his role in this fraud. The governments of Europe also imposing increasingly authoritarian legislation on people in Europe. In Austria, there's the terrorism or the anti-terrorism law passed this year, which means that anybody defined as an enemy of the state can be basically imprisoned. I myself feel the collapse of the legal system here in Austria very heavily, because I have been summoned to appear in front of an Austrian court on the 12th of August and can be stripped of all my civic rights and my right to defend myself in court, and also to deal with my own property under completely spurious and lies, basically. I'm afraid I have to call them lies. And I filed criminal charges documenting all these lies. Today I've already filed appeals and other legal actions. And fortunately I saw this judge's note on time and was able to file these documents. But if I hadn't, I could be in big trouble soon. I think this is part of an attack against the internet. The internet has proved to be very, very effective in warning people about the swine flu job, for example, in reporting about the Bilderbergs. For the first time, there was major mainstream coverage of the Bilderberg meeting in Spain this year, and also in reporting on scandals such as the one currently in France, where the heiress of L'Oréal, Liliane Bettencourt, has been found to be giving envelopes with hundreds of thousands of euros to the French President Nicolas Sarkozy, to the Employment Minister Worth, and also to Sarkozy's wife Carla Bruni has received at least 600,000 in funding from these sources. So the Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, the powers that rule us are getting very worried about the internet and trying to close it down in the USA. Maybe there'll be a cyber attack, a false flag cyber attack used as a justification to close down the internet there. And here in Europe, they seem to be targeting people like myself and trying to silence them using these corrupt judges and court procedures. And this reminds me very much of 1933, when similar things happened. 200,000 Austrians were arrested within a short time of Hitler marching into Austria, and the judges and the state prosecutors played a large role in putting them in prison under various spurious charges, not to mention, of course, all the horror of the concentration camps and so on that came subsequently. We now need to be aware that we need to be very alert about what's going on around us. These are all artificial crises that are hitting us. The financial crisis is created by the banks and their friends in government. The next pandemic, which is being planned, will also be an artificial crisis. The Third World War is totally unnecessary. Iran does not have nuclear weapons, as CIA report has confirmed. And the people who are really responsible for all this is this Bilderberg group, this group in government. We need to turn our attention towards them. We need to take sensible, practical steps to regain our control of our government, such as setting up new parties to win elections, taking legal action, and spreading the word on the internet. And if the internet goes down, we need to go back to printing out flyers and giving them to people. It is time for us to really, I think, get active. As Gerald Celente warned in his latest trend forecast, we don't have many months left to turn the situation around. So that's Jane Bürgermeister in Vienna on a very hot, sunny day.